Hi, my name is Kate Pickford, and this assignment is for History 512, Week 4, Women of the Revolutionary Era, and today I'll be talking about the legend of Molly Pitcher. Mary Ludwig Hayes Macaulay, also known as Molly Pitcher, was a very famous female character of the Revolutionary War who went above and beyond the call of being a wife during the war. You are probably wondering why people call Mary Ludwig Hayes Macaulay Molly Pitcher, and the reason for this is because of the Battle of Monmouth, where she became a legend. During the Battle of Monmouth, which took place on a hot summer day, Mary Ludwig Hayes Macaulay was with her husband William Hayes, who was a soldier in the Continental Army. She, like many other women at the time, served as a camp follower. Her primary role was to provide support for the soldiers, including carrying water to them on the battlefield. According to the legend and various historical accounts, when her husband collapsed or was wounded during the battle, Mary Ludwig Hayes Macaulay took his place at a cannon and continued to help with the artillery, loading and firing the cannon herself. She was said to have shown great courage and determination in the face of danger as the redcoats approached the position. Now this here is a visual representation of a cannonball. This was not used during the Revolutionary War, but this was used during the American Civil War. It came from a Columbiad 10-inch cannon that was used during the American Civil War, and it fired about 100-250 pound cannonballs, which is very different compared to the ones that were used during the Revolutionary War, which they fired mostly 3 to 6 pound cannonballs and maybe 18 pounds. But this one is just a representation of what a cannonball looked like, not actual size. The nickname Molly Pitcher is said to have come from her actions that day. Molly was a common nickname for women named Mary during that era, and Pitcher was derived from her carrying a pitcher of water to the thirsty soldiers. Over time, her actions on the Battle of Monmouth and her nickname became part of American folklore, symbolizing the bravery and resilience of women who supported the Revolutionary War effort. Mary was one of the only one to carry water out to the soldiers. Was not the only one to carry water out to the soldiers on the front lines. Because of all the other women that had been encamped with the colonial army, their wives or daughters would help in any way possible to provide support. In short, the name Molly Pitcher was given to one specific person. That nickname also represents the many women who did their job on supporting the war effort. The only major problem with Molly Pitcher's story is evidence. After the battle, there was no story told of this woman. It was only after her death that the story of Molly Pitcher was brought about. It was only by word of mouth that this woman did something as heroic and brave as the story suggests. Apparently, there is some evidence that did come from people who had first-hand accounts of the battle. A man by the name of Joseph Plum Martin was found saying this: "A woman whose husband belonged to the artillery and who was then attached to a piece in the engagement attended with her husband at the piece the whole time. While in the act of reaching a cartridge and having one of her feet as far before the other as she could step, a cannon shot from an enemy passed directly between her legs without doing any other damage than carrying away all the lower parts of her petticoat. Looking at it with apparent unconcern, she observed that it was lucky it did not pass a little higher, for in that case it might have carried away something else and she continued her occupation." The reason as to why the story of Molly Pitcher is important is also because of what it symbolizes. Molly Pitcher's legend represents the significant contributions of women during the American Revolutionary War, at a time when women's roles in military and public life were limited. Her story highlights the resilience, dedication, and ability to step into traditional male roles when needed. For example, just like the story depicts, she was carrying water to many soldiers, and once she saw her husband get wounded, she stepped into his place and did the job that he currently was not able to do. This is the same idea as for women whose husbands die, and they have children to take care of on their own. The woman has to pick up the extra work that the husband did before he died, and she has to do this along with her other duties as a mother in order to raise the children correctly. So, because of what Molly Pitcher did, this proves that she was a good woman who was willing to put her life on the line with her husband in order to win the battle. The story of Molly Pitcher also embodies the idea of ordinary citizens coming together in times of crisis. Her actions symbolize the unity of American people in this struggle for freedom and a commitment to the principles of revolution. The idea of unity also shows the connection between traditional family unity and their American cause to become their own country. In summary, Molly Pitcher is a legendary figure who symbolizes the important role of women and the spirit of dedication and bravery during the American Revolutionary War. Particularly at the Battle of Monmouth, the story continues to be celebrated as a testament to the contributions of women in American history. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.